Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have your company again today. Well, it's Tuesday, and so that means it must be LoveCrew Book Club Day. Now, it's been absolutely months since I've last been here to post one of these for you. So I don't know about you, but my year has been so completely crazy. I think you can tell. It's because I haven't been here for so long posting one of these. But I wanted to finish this book before I move on to the next one. And as I mentioned before in other videos, you may have wondered why I'm talking about love in this way. And for me, I feel love is the most important thing. It is the thing. Everything comes back to love. And by that, I don't just mean necessarily romantic love. I'm talking about love on all levels. And so when you read my books, you will find out that's what I do. I write about love on all levels, everywhere, even with animals, with each other, with ourselves. It's so important. It's one of the most important things, I feel. And so I'm delighted that you've joined me on this journey, because by looking at books like these, I hope to discover what love is all about. I think we know what it is, but do we? I don't know. And so that's why I thought it would be a good idea to delve deeper into it and find out what it really is. And there are so many wonderful books written about love and what it is and what it isn't. So today we are going to look at chapter 4 of Professor Leo Buscaglia's book that we've been looking at ages ago. Love, what it is and what it isn't. So just a quick recap, I've made a few notes here. So in chapter 1, we looked at the idea that love is a learned phenomena. In chapter 2, we looked at our need to be loved and to love. And in chapter 3, we explored the definition of love. So let's dive right into chapter 4 and find out what Professor Leo Buscaglia has to say next.
There's a great quote near the beginning of chapter 4 from Gandhi stating, "There is no love where there is no will." And Professor Buscaglia leads us into the chapter stating that man can learn, relearn or unlearn to the point of death. There is always more to discover. No matter how much knowledge he has, man can never know everything about anything. Professor Buscaglia continues saying that change is the end result of all true learning, and that change involves 3 things. First, a dissatisfaction with self, a felt void or need, if you will. Second, a decision to change, to fill the void or need. And third, a conscious dedication to the process of growth and change, the willful act of making the change, of doing something. Professor Buscaglia suggests man is constantly finding reasons for his unhappiness in those around him and in his external environment. He sees himself as helpless in a situation that is hopeless and appears intent on looking for gloom, more willing to accept the negative than the positive. Professor Buscaglia suggests man is continually living in worry about the future and disillusionment regarding the past, and may even scoff at the idea that he can also elect happiness. He states, in fact, man may be the only living creature with sufficient will and intelligence to choose happiness. How sad that he so often chooses despair. Professor Buscaglia suggests man gets the feeling that if he is joyful, he is certain to be punished for it tomorrow. He continues saying man becomes dissatisfied with himself, and placing the blame on the unalterable aspects of a hostile world, he feels comfort in his self-created hopelessness. In this way, he relieves himself of all responsibility. Professor Buscaglia suggests that most men fail to consider that there are at least 2 major forces at work upon him in the complicated process of his adjustment to contend with external forces. For example, earthquakes, floods, or a bolt of lightning might strike him or someone he loves, or an accident may permanently cripple him. But how he responds and reacts and lives with a handicap, or through the earthquake or flood, is another matter. This he has some management over, and for most of us, the devastating effects of such external disasters are rare. Therefore, Professor Buscaglia says, man is free to use his internal powers to make his own life. He can write his own dialogue, surround himself with the actors of his choice, paint his backdrop, and arrange his background music. Then, if he doesn't like the play he's created for himself, he has only himself to blame. But even then, he has a choice. He can get off the stage and produce a new play. However, most people in despair are convinced that things are unalterable and will remain that way forever. I'm sure you can all relate to that idea. Professor Buscaglia states that as long as man has will, he will have some degree of control over his reactions, responses, and conclusions, and therefore he's not totally at the mercy of forces greater than himself, for he himself becomes a powerful force. Professor Buscaglia suggests that in order to change, man must trust that he is capable of change. Knowing that one is always capable of change, the second step lies in making the decision to change. Change doesn't occur by merely willing it, any more than behavior changes simply through insight. Professor Buscaglia suggests one can know that something is evil, painful, or dangerous, and still pursue it relentlessly. He says one can only move towards change when he willfully arrives at the decision to do so. Desire and insight into a goal won't help you achieve it unless you take action. So, he says, if one wants love, it is clear that he must move to love. And he continues by saying a total immersion in life offers the best classroom for learning to love. But the third step in change is perhaps the most difficult, he says, because it involves the actual processes of relearning. Professor Buscaglia reminds us that all learning involves searching, finding, analysing, evaluating, experiencing, accepting, rejecting, practice, and reinforcement. You will not learn love by watching others live love. You will only learn as an active participant in love. So, Professor Buscaglia suggests that if one is dissatisfied with his ability to live in love, it's good because it may be the first step in finding the love he craves. But this is only the beginning. Professor Buscaglia reminds us to learn to love is to be in constant change. The process, he says, is endless, for man's potential to love is infinite. Isn't that wonderful? I wholeheartedly agree with him that our potential for love is infinite, and that's what I explore in all my books. Thank you for listening and for joining me on this journey about love. If anything has resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with friends you know might enjoy joining as well. I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below this video. Until next time.